Once occasional, now inescapable. It's hard to unplug. From banking to bill paying, bargain hunting to healthcare, our reliance online seems unavoidable, but
you want to be mindful about who you're giving information to.
Ginger Armbruster is the City of Seattle's Chief Privacy Officer.
There's ways that people are trying to get information from us, so the bottom line is be careful about what you're handing over.
The city hands over huge amounts of information each year as part of its nationally recognized open data program, but not before a diligent privacy review. There's also a special emphasis to protect vulnerable populations.
I think because of the political climate, a lot of folks are more aware of the fact that data could be used in ways we didn't anticipate. So when we collect country of origin or language, that can be a proxy for other uses.
And while the city works to protect people's privacy, criminals are pursuing a different path: identity theft. A recent study revealed annual losses from cybercrime worldwide range from $375 to $575 billion. And in 2016 alone, a whopping 421 billion data records were stolen. Events like Data Privacy Day are a global effort to raise awareness, safeguard data, and empower individuals and organizations.
Including Microsoft's Digital Crimes Unit.
Microsoft's Cybercrime Center provides private sector expertise that benefits the public.
They leverage the power of big data, analytics. They have highly skilled investigators, digital forensics experts, and kind of tracing through the breadcrumbs that are left by the criminals to find out what they're doing, how they're targeting people.
On this day, AARP members get a front row seat at this state-of-the-art facility, complete with a forensics lab and hundreds of specialists. Some visitors here are also victims.
Somebody comes to your front door and they're collecting for military, they're collecting for forgotten children, they're collecting for all of these things. You assume it is a legitimate thing. You write them a check, and a couple weeks later the post office calls and says, guess what? You were caught up in a fraud.
Unfortunately, that wasn't her only brush with identity theft.
You run your credit card through a machine, somebody gets that information, and when my bank called me and said, have you been here, here, or here? No, not at all. Well, somebody's using your information. So they were good enough to right away cancel my credit card, my debit card, and make sure that it wasn't used anymore.
Anna's credit union was on the ball. Good thing. It could have been much worse.
If your credit card is compromised, say you get hacked individually, one of the ways that criminals monetize that, instead of using the card directly, is sell that card based upon the individual's credit score, the credit limit, how much the balance is, on the dark web, usually purchased by other criminals to use for some other purpose.
What's the dark web?
The dark web is just a portion of the internet where the criminals live and do their business. They mask their activities using encryption, virtual private networks.
What's available?
What's not available? I mean, it's everything from illegal software to sharing music to the illegal sale of guns or drugs and, honestly, people.
With that in mind, what's the best defense against cybercrime?
Free Wi-Fi is really convenient. It's great at the cafes and places that we go in the open spaces, but there are people that are listening and trying to get passwords and access to information.
Realistically, you should look at all of your sensitive information accounts. So if you do healthcare online, if you do banking, credit card, financial, IRAs, retirement accounts, long-term savings, all of those could potentially be impacted.
Operating systems and software, those are updated for a reason, not just to give you new features and functions, but often there are security updates that help.
But experts say changing your passwords every few months is critical.
A lot of people are going to passphrases, so that if it's really hard to remember that funny little code you came up with numbers and names, maybe you come up with a passphrase, but change those often. Don't use the same one over and over again.
Better safe than sorry.
Charlie is my dog. I admit that I used that password on things. I had people break it in the office. Oh yeah, your dog. I know who your dog is.
Change passwords so that they are those long passwords. They're not familiar names that criminals typically will try to guess at.
Passphrases are kind of the vogue, or they were the vogue at least for some security folks who realize that, you know, a sentence is a lot harder to get through than a word
So you're saying
or
Charlie
a date.
is my dog is your password?
No, it isn't. But it's an example.
Go change your passwords.
And finally, a reminder not to take the bait. Phishing scams are back and more convincing than ever.
I do see a lot of information on my computer that says, click on me now.
It's still the thing, phishing, this idea that somebody's going to send you an email and hit this link.
But when you see some of those things, you wonder, should I click on it or not?
They can be very compelling. These are hard to catch. I have family members who've been caught on these. Often it's you have to update your Microsoft system right now and you need to click on this link or you need to make this phone call and reach out to them. Legitimate companies don't do business that way, and so being aware of what phishing attacks might or might not look like, don't hit that link if you're not sure.
Bottom line, always be on guard.
Every day. Every day. You should think about privacy every day.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Watch CityStream Thursday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or get video on demand and podcasts anytime at seattlechannel.org.